Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is the 6th Minisode of the 6th season of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to cope with comments. This is the twin sister of our last Minisode, Minisode 5, where we discussed what to do about negative product reviews. The problem with negative comments as an influencer is that you cannot cut off comments entirely. We talked about this last Minisode. When doing brand deals, you need to be able to show engagement across all of your posts, not just the sponsored ones. So cutting off comments is a non-starter if you are an influencer who works with brands. Remember, before we go any further, I'm talking about comments that are not inaccurate about a product or service, or as you as a person, nor are they abusive. We talk about legal considerations, such as suing for defamation, if the problem is really bad and causes you damages, in the last Minisode, Minisode 5. So go back for more on that. Today, we are talking about the comments that say stuff like, "This brand sucks. I like the competitor better." Rude, perhaps, but not necessarily against the terms of service on the platform you're on. In those cases, report the comment and delete it. So, how do you cope? What strategy can you use other than to just grin and bear it? Do you even respond? The answer to the last question is yes. You should respond if it is appropriate. And what do I mean by appropriate? Well, first check with the brand to see what they want you to do. If the comment is something like, "I got one of these, but it broke after 3 uses," step in as brand ambassador and be friendly about it with a response like, "Oh no, that's certainly not normal." Reach out to their support team and then give them their email. For influencers, it may be a good idea to make this part of your influencer contract if you are responding to comments like the example I just gave. The interaction and the brand's preferred language for responding to negative comments may be specified in the contract. You also want to limit the number of comments that you have to reply to in that contract. So when the negative comment calls for it, you can use humor to diffuse the situation. But let me be clear, do not mock or otherwise belittle the commentator. Generally, this tactic is reserved only when the comment is on a personal post, since you can use appropriate self-denigrating humor to throw shade back in a polite and humorous way that your followers will enjoy. And remember this above all else, don't make any mean or negative comments. Don't take them too seriously. In the sage words of my wife, be a duck, which means just let it roll off your back like water falls off the back of a duck.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.